Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is me, Priyanka Joshi, and today we have our guest, Hitansh Vaishnav. He's in a product development department in cell therapy, working in US. So let him introduce. Welcome to my channel, Hitansh. Our audience wanted to know about your department, your stream, about your achievements. So yes, please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm Hitansh, everyone. I'm currently working at Johnson & Johnson as a co-op in cell and gene therapy product development. I have had a very different background compared to cell and gene therapy. I did my bachelor's in pharmaceutical science, master's in pharmaceutics, and then after I worked into MSAT, manufacturing science and technology, then pivoted towards formulation development in small molecules. Then I came to US. I started studying at Rutgers University, pursuing Masters of Business and Science, that is MBA plus MS, and my concentration was drug discovery and development. So it's an amalgam of studying the general MBA, also with the MS that has a science concentration of your choosing. So I chose drug discovery and development because obviously that's my background, and I've been working with Johnson and Johnson since past 6 months, I guess. I started off in January. I work in product development, specifically in CAR T. I work in autologous systems as well, and I have extensive experience in Johnson and Johnson when it comes to cryopreservation of cells. So that's something that I have learned, and I'm grateful for. And thank you so much for having me. That's pretty much of my background for your information.
Wow, that's a great achievement. You have worked really hard and you have contributed a lot in science domain. So we want to know more about how you went to US and what is the cultural work culture difference in India and in US.
Oh, that's an amazing question. I had to give it to Globello. Globello was really efficient in processing my applications, guiding me through counseling processes, and guiding me through each step and legalities of the visa. And they had some amazing backing when it comes to university affiliations or loan affiliations, so that the dream can be translated into reality, and that's something that I had to give it to Globello. Apart from that, work culture in I will start with why did I chose US, because as you know, biotech or pharma has been a hub, like it's an innovative hub in US since past couple of decades. All the new molecules or the new technologies are originated from here, and that's something I wanted to get my hands on. That's something that always wanted to study, to be on the development or the cutting edge side, where it is a virgin territory. There is no roadmap yet. So
Yes,
that's something that I always wanted to learn, and that's the reason why I chose US, so that I can get that kind of exposure.
that's nice.
Yes.
Like, what you find a major difference? If you also mentioned that you were working in India
Mm-hmm.
and the work culture in India and in US.
There is a difference of, there's a polar opposite difference, I would say. In India, I wouldn't, if I can be bold enough, I would say in India, the work culture is more of micromanagement than it is work. There is more system than science. I'm not trying to belittle anyone here, but that's
Yeah.
something of my personal experience, where I felt that there can be a lot that can be done in India, whereas in US, the work culture is pretty much based on ownership. So, for an example, if I'm given a task, I'm expected to take an ownership. No one will be guiding me or directing or micromanaging me on do things specifically as per their likings. I have liberty to choose my own methods. I have liberty to choose my uh, own resources and make things happen. So that is something that that independent way of working when it comes to US. And secondly, I feel that in US it's most uh most, I would say, considerate towards their employees when it comes to work-life balance and work culture. I have always seen that, in India, there are like nine hours a day, 12 hours a day for 6 days a week, and in US mostly the work schedule revolves around 8 hours a day or 5 days a week. So you have a pretty much of your own life. You get 2 days of weekend, and where I work, I have 3 days on site and 2 days of work from home. So I believe work from home also comes with duties and responsibilities, but also at the leisure of not waking up early and driving 2 hours and commuting 2 hours back. So that's something that solves the personal life or the work-life balance issues.
That's why I guess majority of the people are migrating to outside, like leaving India and going abroad. But it's a personal choice. But yeah, it seems like there's this more work-life balance compared to doing all this stuff in India. And you did so well in your life. So let's talk about your achievements. Please tell us about how long it took, and like if a normal person from a normal background, if he or she wants to go to US, then how they can apply, like how to choose university, how to choose a job, whether there is vacancy, like how they can apply if they are very naive and they want to go there, then what they can do.
Well, I would start off with basic entrance exams. That's something that should be get off right off the bat because when you are planning to study abroad, you should be aware of the exams that you have to give. That's the primary step, that the foundation of it. So if you're going for bachelor's, you have to prepare for SAT. If you are going for master's, it's GRE. If you want to go for MBA, then you have to prepare for GMAT. Now, every university will have different cutoff. You have to go through the university's website and see what is the cutoff, what was the cutoff previous year, and you need to connect with people who are already studying there through various platforms like LinkedIn, alumni associations, and try to understand their insights on how they prepared for it and how they got an admission. Secondly, I believe that shortlisting university comes with the finalizing your course. What courses do you want to study, what courses that you want to pursue, and like what is your background, what is more suitable, and start preparing with the English proficiency test. Try to evaluate which particular university's program is better. When it comes to computer engineering, I believe Carnegie Mellon, UIUC is the best. When it comes to biotech, there is John Hopkins and USC. So I believe, oh, every university will have their flagship course, and based on your course you have to select your university. And if you are ever confused and don't know anything about the process, I highly recommend Globelo. To reach out to Globelo, they will guide you through it. They will do one-on-one counseling and let you get an information that you need to build a foundation on, and based on that you can build a strategy on how to apply, when to apply. Secondly, I would say is, uh, when you're applying, you should always think about financing as well, because that's the
Yes.
major part. That's the thing that I felt very overwhelming while coming here. I was fortunate enough that, I was able to secure an education loan. Globelo helped me with that as well. But I believe having a strong financial backing or planning would really help you right off the bat before you even apply.
Very nicely answered. It was a very informative. So, please tell me about yourself. Like, what exam did you write, and how you applied? Which university you choose, and how did you choose this?
So for I applied to 5 universities, out of which I was previously in Georgetown,
Hmm.
where my GRE was waived. I was in drug discovery and development, and my GRE was waived off based on my experience, because I had previous masters and 4 years of experience in India in R&D, product development. So based on their bylaws, I was able to get a waiver. I got an admission, got a visa, and started studying in Georgetown. But then I shifted to Rutgers University because I got an admit from Rutgers, and I believe they had an MBA amalgamation with the MS, and that's something that I wanted to look into, something that I wanted to explore to, broaden my horizons. And They were kind enough to waive off my GRE as well because uh, I had 4 years of experience. So mostly in most of the universities, the scenario is that if you have like certain years of experience and a higher level degree, you can request for a waiver for GRE. But for GMAT, I believe MBA schools do not, because in MBA there are people from various backgrounds and they need to have someone with a cohesive mindset with the MBA, and that's the reason why GMAT can't be waived. In most of the universities, it's not waived off. So I believe that's how it went for me.
This was a really nice, very informative. Like you gave a much more a bigger idea to the audience.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I'm really happy to help you with that, and I'm really happy that I was able to provide the information. If there are any more questions with, how CAR T cell therapy product works, or if you have any questions with that, I'll be happy to answer that as well.
Yes, please, if you can answer, if you can tell in brief about your work, like how in US it is working, you are doing there.
So I'm mostly working on the product development. It is the late phase, downstreaming. Uh, I work on the formulation and development of the CAR T products, and there are three generations of procedures, where first generation is something that you do manually in your lab. You test it
Hmm.
manually. The second generation is a hybrid that is partly autonomous and partly involved with the humans. So I believe I'm on the Gen 2, where I have to manually do certain things, while certain things is autologous, like harvesting of the cells, formulating, introducing the CS10 that we see as that's a cryoprotectant, the buffer solution, optimizing the formulation ratios, and harvesting the entire cells with that. That's done autonomously. Then we have to fill it manually through vials. So
Yes.
that's generation 2. Generation 3 is, however, has completely been a game changer. It is totally autologous. So there are certain machines. For an example, there is a machine called Q. It harvests the cells for you. It optimizes the ratio. It fills out the samples, the bags, and you just have to place it towards the cryoprotectant. So ultimately, what you have to do is you just have to put in the instructions or the commands, and you just have to keep monitoring it. So if there is something going towards, deviation point or something like that, but it is purely autologous. There are Every company will have different principles with the autologous systems. The thing that I'm working when it comes to autologous is Q, and with Q, it I would say you have to just fill out the program, where you have to fill out the ratios, the temperature, what you want to keep, the harvesting, the spinning speed. It's customizable, and all the customizations that you put in, it will run the samples, it will formulate the entire product and give you the end package product that just have to place it towards the cryoprotectant. So that's something that's I have learned. So that was something that was so astonishing to me compared to what was in India, where we have to do things manually in
Manual
lab, in
plan.
the BSc
Yes.
chambers. So that was something a big learning curve for me, and I'm really grateful to have that kind of exposure here.
That's really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hitansh, for your valuable time and for this much information. Like, I hope definitely my audience will be grateful to have all of them. And please, if you want to give any message to people from a pharma background, from India or in US or anywhere, if they want to pursue or masters or want to do job there, so please, if you have anything to say, you can suggest.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a great opportunity, and I appreciate for, giving your time to me. I think the question that you asked is a very simple one, which rarely has a simple answer. I believe every individual will have their own goals. whether they want to go and work in R&D, whether they want to work in the commercial aspects of the pharma. So I believe whatever your goals are, whatever the sector or the subfield that you want to pivot towards, I believe uh, outside of India, there are a lot of scope when it comes to education, when it comes to your career. Also within India, there are multiple companies, multiple sources that you can use. I believe if you want to work, I'm from R&D background, so I'll speak for that. If you want to pursue your career in R&D, I believe uh, being very sure about whether do you want to work in the analytical side, whether do you want to work in the development side, whether do you want to work in the late phase or the early stage, pen side or on the regulatory side. You need to be very clear, and I understand, I have been there from each step. I pivoted towards MSET to R&D to cell therapy. It is not always a linear graph. As you go towards your experiences, you will try to understand that how do you want to pivot towards which direction do you want to go. Just trust yourself, do what you do best, and stick with what your goal is. And that's what I want to share with my peers. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Hitansh, for your time. And once again, we were so grateful to have you. Globelo help you out in this all your process. So do approach Globelo. If you are from any side of India, it is an online platform and trustworthy platform that across India. If you want to go anywhere for any course, if you want to do masters, bachelors, or PhD also, so they are helping us out in a great manner possible. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching this video once again.